Okay, good evening. Welcome to the May meeting of the aid program of the League of Women Voters. League of Women Voters. The ABC League of Women Voters consists of Anoka, Blaine, Coon Rapids, Fridley, Champlain, and some other cities which I'm probably neglecting. But basically, uh, most of Anoka County and the northern part of Hennepin County. So we have a pretty large population, and we work pretty hard at offering a variety of things. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan group that whose primary focus is to increase civic engagement of all people. We help, we assist with voter registration all over the county. We conduct candidate forums in a nonpartisan way. We research topics and arrive at consensus and then develop position papers on those topics, a whole variety of topics. We conduct monthly programs on topics that are of interest to the members of the League and as well as to participants of the community. We want to recognize QCTV for always our ongoing partnership, and we couldn't do this without you, really. So this is a very different system for us, but I do want to tell you that we're not all accustomed to Zoom, but it'll all work out. I do want to just recognize and let you all know that Gretchen cannot be here tonight because her husband Paul had open heart surgery today, and of course she cannot be with him, which just makes everything more anxiety producing. She does not want us to make a fuss. You do as you choose. I just hold her and her husband in my prayers and hope that you do as well. I'm going to introduce Patti Hetrick this evening. Patti is the interim library director for the Anoka Library system, which is, I think many of you know, is a pretty big system. And she's going to discuss she has held this interim director position since March. And prior to that, for 12 years, she was the budget director of finance for the Central Services Division of Anoka County. And when she was placed in the interim position, the board recognized her as having distinguished herself for her professionalism, knowledge, and leadership. So tonight, Patti's going to talk to us about what services are available in Anoka County during this pandemic. As well as there are some services that I had found out about inadvertently that people may be interested in for individuals who are shut-ins, who have chronic health conditions and can't go out into the community. And then she's also going to share with us what the vision of the county board is for the library system as we move forward. So Patti, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you have questions, put them on the chat board, and I will read them after Patti is done with her presentation. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Susan. We're just honored that you guys are interested in what we're doing. I have to say that when I took on this interim job, nobody said there was going to be a pandemic involved. So it's been quite the challenge and but quite the whirlwind. But I have to say that the employees of the library system are phenomenal. They care about their patrons, and it's very hard for them not to see you guys every day or have you come in. But we have been extremely innovative and creative and continue to provide as many services as we can. The county board has been very supportive of this and sees our numbers that we are producing every week. And I think it's just reaffirmed just how important the library services are to the community. And even though I think someone mentioned that they have the eBooks, I sit across from Northtown every day, and I can tell you curbside is alive and well and amazingly busy. So people want their physical books, and it's all ages. We get the most interesting comments, and I'll share some of those with you. I'm sure Jamie could share a few stories, although I think she's probably not at the building most of the time. but probably working out of home. So with that, I will start. And if Leslie will put up my PowerPoint, I'm going to review some stuff with you. Leslie, do you want to go a couple pages in? And you can go one more right there. Perfect. All right, we just wanted to give you kind of a normal glance at what we do in a normal year. This year will be completely different, but I think it's astounding to look at these numbers. In 2019, we had 2,577,498 in-person and virtual library visits. That's a lot of visits. We have 8 libraries and they are very busy. Again, that does include some virtual library visits, but it's amazing how many people come through our door. We had 2.2 million items loaned. So again, staggering numbers. You don't realize it till you see all the books and they're coming through the admin and going through the AMH, which is our automated handling system. And it is a production. I guess I didn't realize what a business this is and a production warehouse system besides all the other services we provide, but it's really quite intriguing. We had 2,000 different programs attended by almost 50,000 people. Meeting rooms, which is something I think is a little surprise to everybody, are one of our most popular services that we provide at the libraries. We don't have that many meeting rooms, but they're almost constantly booked. We had 8,000 bookings just last year. And of course, Wi-Fi is always accessible. I have to say, even during this, people come to our parking lots. They can get Wi-Fi, out in the parking lot. And so it's kind of nice for people to know that even though we're not open, they still can park. We welcome them to do so and use the Wi-Fi. Okay, next. All right, Leslie. Yep, perfect. This one I'm going to have to read a little notes because I got lots to say, and I don't think I can memorize it all with my mind the way it is lately. So just to remind people, library buildings closed to the public on March 17th. And to continue to bring ideas, information, inspiration to Anoka County, we have implemented services that are safe for staff and patrons that still provide the full library experience. So online resources, those are the easy ones. They're available 24/7 for educational, research, and entertainment resources like eBooks, audiobooks, homework help, database. In response to the pandemic, we have beefed up our online offerings, including adding more eBooks. We upped our budget quite a bit to take on the more eBooks and cut down a little on physical books, but we are also getting new physical books in too. We've added more learning resources and access to some databases from home that were previously only available in the library. For anyone that enjoys genealogy, the popular Ancestry.com database is currently available from home while we are closed. If anyone is doing schooling at home with kids, our BrainFuse Help Now is available. It provides live online tutoring available in English and Spanish. Many of our regulars are missing being able to come in and read the newspaper every day, but did you know that we have newspapers available online? And if you are looking to learn a new skill during this time of quarantine, we've got you covered with online tools to learn a new language, artistic techniques, and all kinds of business, leadership, technical, and design skills. I'm going to ask Leslie at this point, we just had a video done by our county communications department on curbside. And I think we'll watch that because it gives you an idea of what's all involved in curbside. Sounds easy, like, yeah, just bring out the books, lay them on a table, and good to go. There's a lot of different interactions because first we have to quarantine every return book for 3 days. And then, of course, we have to pull holds, make reservations, and people pick them up. So we're going to go to the video now if it's possible. And I think that will kind of lead into our next discussion.
Busy.
What's your last name?
It's been very, very busy. The demand is huge, and we are at this stage. We're working somewhere between 72 and 100 curbside pickups every day, and we're putting out about 1,500 holds a week as of last week.
Thank you. You're welcome.
The easiest thing to do is for them to go to the Anoka County Library website, at which point they can look up any materials that they would like to have or check out, and they can place a hold on it right there. This is where we're staging our quarantine items. Most of these items are coming back from the patrons through our book drop, 3 full days has to elapse before those materials can then make their way either out onto the sales floor or to a hold or to anywhere else in the building. When we run them through our automatic materials handling machine here. So at that point, we'll get those books, they'll drop into a bin and a hold slip will print out. We'll put those into the books and then we put those out onto the hold shelves outside. We at this point have probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 to 3,200 holds on the shelves for patrons. It's right there. When that particular patron calls us to set up a curbside appointment, we'll come and find this item. We'll grab it off of the shelf. We bag those materials up and we bring them into the meeting room, which is where our curbside will be. So we have time set up on each of these tables and we ask each patron as they call and we have a conversation with them to let us know what kind of vehicle they'll be driving. At which point, we'll take that book, set it in its bag on the table. We'll give a little wave to you as you're ready to go. And then as soon as we get back inside the building, you're welcome to get out, grab your materials, and you're good to go. Very, very appreciative. Everybody seems to be really feeling good about it, and it's a very positive thing for the citizens of Anoka County.
Basically, that's the process. It is busy. We literally make dozens of appointments every day. Sometimes some buildings are taking 2 appointments at the same time. So they can have 2 tables going as long as they're 6 feet apart. So.
Thank you, Jamie, for helping with that. Leslie, if you want to put back up the presentation when you have a chance. Perfect. Again, we just want to point out, if you don't have a library card, you can certainly apply online. I'm getting a little bit of a echo. Jamie, I don't know if everybody's muted, or Leslie, I don't know if everybody's muted. So anyway, if you don't have a library card, you can apply online. This card will give you immediate access to eBooks. Full access card will be mailed to you that will allow access to physical materials, databases, etc. And we've had a lot of new requests for library cards, so I think people are realizing that it's a really good resource. We are following safety procedures, as Jamie just mentioned. This is from the County Health Department and the CDC. We quarantine all returned items for 3 days because we have understood that it's not very likely a book will carry a germ, but just to make sure, if there's plastic on the cover, we are quarantining for the 3 days, and both our staff and patrons feel very comfortable with that. Book returns are open at 4 curbside locations, as you can see on the screen: Johnsville, Rum River, Northtown, and Centennial. And we will probably be opening book returns at all the libraries very soon, with the exception of Mississippi, because they are going to be under construction. Just want to tell you a little bit. Oops, if you can go to the next page, Leslie. So as you saw the numbers in 19, they're huge. We're pretty proud of these numbers. Since we started curbside, we've checked out 20,128 items, and that was as of May 2nd. So if I check today, you probably would add another 12, 15,000. We've not been doing fines and fees. However, we are encouraging return of books. And so far we've had 33,456, which I find pretty incredible. We need people to actually check out more books because our shelves are getting really, really full. In a normal time, 38% of the books are out in circulation. And right now you can see that we're getting more in than we're getting out. So please encourage all your friends and neighbors to withdraw their books, because we actually need help with that. As I said, there's 576 library card applications just since it started. We talked about a little bit about the books by mail service from homebound patrons, and you can email the person. Her name is Rosalind, and she will help set you up. It's a service we were doing before, probably not, really advertised, because there is a cost and it's very select and it's very time consuming. But for people that truly are shut in, we really think the service is something. And so she'll work with you to select books, and she'll put them in a mail bag. It comes to your home or wherever you live in a bag. You read the books and then return them in the same bag. And so it's pretty slick and pretty easy. And Rosalind is a true advocate for this, and she will love just to say hi to you. And, you know, sometimes I think people just want to hear a voice over the phone and know there's another human. We're finding a lot of our calls in general are people that are just really lonely and maybe live by themselves. So we consider that part of our job too. But really encourage you to use this service if you are truly shut in. If you want to go to the next slide. It's really, really cool because our librarians are available. They are busy. They are answering phones from home. I don't know, Jamie, have you been doing that? I'm hearing they get all kinds of calls, and we do have some interesting scenarios. One was when we said we can even help fix your car. So this is what happened on that call. The person said, let's see, well, we'll just say, did you know that we have a database full of original manufacturer repair information, including diagrams and parts and labor? So no, probably not. But so this man called and said he was trying to fix an E450 fuel pump. And they went back and forth, and finally he's like, well, what I need is the actual diagram. And the connector ends I'm trying to work with don't show me the splice and ground locations. Any chance you can search further for a diagram? And one of our librarians, Teresa, who's at Northtown, was able to use the All Data Automotive Intelligent Database to help find what he needed. And his last comments were, you're the best, thanks, got it fixed. So those are the stories we kind of live for. Another story comes to my mind that we had a elderly patron, and her husband has dementia and probably doesn't know how to use some of the online, you know, Netflix, that type of thing. And she was able to rent some movies and pick them up at our curbside. And she said, you know, that's the only break she gets, and that her husband really enjoys watching some of those old movies. So it's really cool that, you know, people are almost crying. They're so thankful to pick up materials, and it makes it worth it. Our people are tired, but every time they hear a comment like that, it just gets them going again. So it really does make a difference in people's lives. And if you want to go to the next slide, and Jamie, do you want to add anything in there that I missed, or? No? Okay. So we can go to the next slide. Yep. Our virtual story time. This is Mao, one of our, we have 2 live story time people at 10:15 every day. And you might think this is just for small children, but I listen to it because number one, it gives me a little insight how it's going, but also it's just relaxing. I can work and have that in the background, and she's so cheerful, and Matt, our other guy's so cheerful, and they do little crafts. And I have a 4-year-old granddaughter, which you'll see in the next slide, her picture, but you know, parents really appreciate this because it's a time where they can put their child in front of a screen, and it's educational and very entertaining, and they know it's live, and they're kind of used to the 2 people that do it. And I think a lot of parents are just really appreciative. And I'm the mom of 4 adopted children from the foster care system. They're now adults, and my biggest fear during this is preventing child abuse as well as domestic abuse. And I just am really proud that we're offering all these different things that parents can get a break from their kids. You know, they're not used to having them home. They're not used to teaching school to them. And I think it's just, we've really let our human service people know too, that we have resources that will help with that and help keep kids occupied in a very good way. So it's just really important that we provide these type of programs. They're all taped, so you can watch them later if you can't join in at 10:15. But our librarians are quite creative. You'll see all kinds of crafts and arts and book clubs and you name it. And so I'd really encourage you to look online and see what's all available. All right, our next slide. Okay, if you see the little girl in the tiara, that would be my little princess granddaughter, and that's her own. She wears it pretty often. And so it's kind of fun just to be able to know that she's tuning in to us every day. And even though I can't see her other than over the screen, it's just nice to see her. We're going to have our 5th annual Teen Write On short story contest to switch a little bit. We've extended the deadline from April to May to give teens extra time to participate during the time of upheaval and being away from school. If you have a budding young writer in your life, please encourage them to participate. Winners will be announced in June, and a collection of their stories will be published. as an ebook available through Minnesota Writes, Minnesota Reads. Okay, next slide. This is where you can access all these materials. This is our homepage of anokacountylibrary.org. It has more information about curbside. You can apply for a library card. You can find contact info and chat service to get in touch with a librarian. The events and classes circular button underneath the banner will take you to our online event calendar. All right, Susan, were there any questions so far?
Yes, there are 5 questions, so let's see. I think Wes has been just going crazy.
We know Wes.
Yeah. So the first question is the library board still meeting during the stay-at-home order period? And if yes, how and when? And what is the, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
And then what is the role of the Commissioner West as the liaison to the library board?
Yes, we did postpone. Everybody in the county was told that unless you have action items, you don't need to have committee meetings. However, for the most part, we have had action items. The library board is meeting through a WebEx. The next meeting is actually Monday night at 5:30. And if anybody wants, we do put it on our public website. If you want access, you can email us and we'll give you access to the WebEx that goes on. Commissioner West, I do actually see her a lot on the MELSA meetings. She, all commissioners from each county are represented on the MELSA, and so she's very aware of the funds. She gets an update every single week. I think it's just been really cool because I think the county board has seen way more information in the library probably than ever before because we have so many things we're marketing and talking about, and they're asking how it's going. So the county board is very, very involved. We are really doing quite a few projects even during this time. Rhonda Sivaraja has really promoted, for example, Mississippi Library is getting a complete overhaul inside during this time. And so they'll be closed for a little while even when we open. It includes, just everything's going to look different. It's going to look really nice. We redid the bathrooms already. We're actually doing another renovation, hopefully in St. Francis. If have any of you been to St. Francis Library? It's pretty not updated. Huh?
I was there years and years ago. I think it's pretty different from when I saw it.
Probably.
No, not very much. And it's just as small as it was then. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I'm just going to say that flat out. But the board is very interested in having all libraries updated to a certain level. Ham Lake has a new landlord, so they're going to be getting an update. And I think the board just really wants, we can't necessarily build new libraries everywhere, but they really want all the buildings to look as good as possible, have kind of the same brand. We've kind of realized that St. Francis is more of a boutique library and that we're going to accommodate people in that manner. They're certainly not a Centennial or a Northtown or a Rum River, but it's actually a really cool little building, and we're going to make it more accessible and more way better for the staff. And so it's definitely going to get a nice facelift. The other cool thing is it's right next to some parkland there, and they also have a building, so we can do some really joint projects that are really cool. So I just really appreciate that the county board has really given us some authorization to use the library building fund to make some changes. We've got lots of things we want, and we've got a 10-year plan going that we're going to review with the library board. So it's pretty exciting, actually.
Okay, here is another, thank you a lot. There is another question from Wes, but we have one from Karen coming up. If the governor is extending the stay-at-home order as we meet tonight, will the return due dates be pushed back further?
Yeah, there has been some angst to get those going again by some people. It's really very unlikely that we can charge fines why we have this going on, because people can't always get the books. If we discharged them, there'd be fines due. So we do have to make up the fine revenue that we're missing. And we are doing that. We have laid off some temporary people, and it's not easy because most of them are shelvers, and really our libraries really miss them. But for right now, we do have to make up that difference. We think that if it's extended, like I've heard, to June 1st, the shutdown, I don't think our county board is in a rush to open the buildings any more than we have to, because it's very hard to keep everybody safe and social distance. We did try to do some of that before we closed, and unfortunately not all patrons are cooperative, and we don't want to put our staff in the situation where they're bouncers. I think we all saw on the news where one man was killed at a Dollar Tree trying to get people's masks on. So we're being very, very careful. We're trying to provide as many services without opening the building, although we are working on plans, and we would guess it'll be more by appointment only. So there will be no fines and fees assessed during this time until probably we're back in full business and everybody has a chance to return books.
So Karen Varian says the governor lifted the stay-at-home order tonight.
Did he?
Which is news to us. Karen, can you unmute Karen, Leslie?
I'm here. There were some, he's keeping the emergency order in, which I didn't get everything that still's closed, but it's things like hair salons, churches, those things will remain closed. No specific mention of libraries. So actually my question is then, when do you expect libraries to open? What's the plan for precautions? Those kind of things.
Well, we don't anticipate opening any buildings in the library system before June 1st. Probably the way it would work is we would try it in one of the bigger libraries, probably Northtown, see how it goes. We've been given plexiglass around all the desks. We have decals on the floor for social distancing. We are working with each separate branch to look at how they can best accommodate. Very hard in the smaller branches because you could literally only have 2 or 3 people in at a time. We will take it very, very slowly and very carefully. Our staff is very concerned about opening buildings. So we have people working. We are working with First Management. I don't think we will be requiring masks. We'll certainly be encouraging it. But right now it looks like it would be by appointment only, and it would be for a specified time, whether you want to use the computers or browse. But I would not expect anything to change drastically in the next month.
Okay. Wes advises you to share the Fixing the Car story with the Fixing the Car story with the Historical Society Director, Rebecca, as they're collecting coronavirus stories. That would be a good one for them to have.
Okay. I will talk to our communications person, Erin, about that.
And then the county board said, yes, Wes comments, the county board said yesterday they favor a slow incremental reopen of the county. And that seems to be logical. And then Amir likes buying the withdrawn children's books. He wants to buy them. Is that correct, Amir? Is there any way to make this available curbside?
To buy children's books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying when I go to Northtown, there's like a section and they have all the withdrawn books and you can buy them. And so I was wondering if there's any way to make that curbside, because I bought a lot of books from the Northtown Library.
Well, it's funny you asked that because we definitely have considered it. We just haven't quite figured out how people browse them and touch them, and then other people will browse and touch them. So that's kind of the biggest. We have weeded when we were closed. The first 2 weeks we were doing curbside, and I don't know if people realize that books wear out after so many circulations. They get old. We have to make room for new books. So we do sell quite a bit of used books or give them away in some cases to shelters and food banks, etc. So Amir, I can't answer that today, but I can tell you it is on our radar. It helps to hear from you that would be appreciated. And I will make it a higher priority to see how we can get that done. We've even talked about putting children's books in bags and just letting families come pick them up for free. We're just not sure that they get the books they want, but at least they would get something. So we are definitely looking at options. really appreciate the comments, because that tells me it's something we really got to think about harder.
If I may, one thing you might want to investigate is an organization called Better World Books. They sell used books that come from libraries.
Yeah, no. I buy books. You know, we have a lot of books, and I get them online. But it's just it's nice to do it that way at the library, because you're really getting a chance to see the insides of the books, and you feel that, well, you know, these books are withdrawn and fantastic prices. I mean, I think I pay like $1 for a hardback book. No, maybe 50 cents for a hardback and like 25 cents for a paperback. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's nice, and you get to page through it, and even the kids can see if they like it or not. But I've been doing that for years, and that's helped supplement my collection.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that the paging through is probably not going to be available
Yeah.
in the immediate future. But so Patty, Wes asks if you could restate about the process for returning books now, so that you can get them back into circulation.
Oh, sure. You can return books at any time in the 4 curbside locations that are open. And as I said, probably by next week, we're going to start opening other returns. So for example, St. Francis, Ham Lake, Crooked Lake, Mississippi will not be open just because we're under construction. So as long as you just drop them in the return slot, a lot of them have drive-through ones or walk-up ones, then what we do is quarantine them for 3 days. And then we put them back into circulation. So it really does help. We love people returning them, and then we want them to check out more.
Awesome. Just Patty, can you just take a minute and tell us, has the county board expressed a vision for where they want to see the library system to go at all that you're aware of?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons I'm here. You know, I do a lot of strategic planning in the county, and our budget overall is about 8.8 million. We expect some type of cut this year for all budgets. The way revenues are going, and the average I've heard from other library systems across the metro, not Anoka County, we have not been given this direction, is that generally people are looking at cutting 10 to 15% of library budgets.
Wow.
So yeah, and I understand it, because I can tell you the revenues that are coming in are way less than 10%. And so our county board is very creative. They're very innovative. I know they'll do everything they can, but for planning purposes, I've only been told the direction is a 0% increase, which means basically we have to cover any natural increases that are due to professional services or contracts. We can do that, meet our target at 0 fairly easily, the same one we had in 19. I'm not worried about that at all. But I would have probably done this anyway, and I'm going to implement a zero-based budgeting approach this year. And so what that means is we are going to take that bucket of money, and I'm going to meet with not only the management, but hopefully we can have an exercise with all the staff. And I want to relook at, we have this many dollars, you know, how do we best use them? What are some recommendations we can give to the board? Would it make sense to have 1 library in the place of 2 libraries? Would it make sense to, you know, do a lot of things, and are we staffed appropriately? You know, some of our work is plain production, some is very technical. And so do we have the right level of staffing? Is there more effective ways we can do things? So the county board is really excited about seeing us relook at things and reallocate resources. The other thing the county board is really interested in is, traditionally the library has really not acted as part of the county so much. They have not taken advantage of the facilities, IT, etc. It's just been kind of a culture. And so one of my directives was to get us fully integrated into the county. And I can tell you already, it's made just a huge difference. Our head facilities guy actually was out on sick leave prior to the pandemic. So we were pretty short-staffed, and our facilities department has just stepped in and been our partner and offered things. Risk management has been out helping us assess how to quarantine, do the proper procedures. IT has been all over helping us get, you know, stuff set up at home. We've just had an abundance of help from them. And so I think by better utilizing the county, that's really going to help out the library in the future. And so the board just wants us to take advantage of every resource we can and make it more efficient and probably streamlined.
If people are interested, does the county library system accept donations?
Jamie, generally we do, correct?
Yeah, so our criteria for materials donations are that items be recent. And when we say recent, generally within the last 2 years. We don't want your 1960 World Book Encyclopedia.
Really?
Or your National Geographics or your Reader's Digest condensed books. We're looking for current, in good condition, bestsellers and children's materials, DVDs and audiobooks. Those are the things that wear out and that we always have short supply of. If everything that we receive as a donation is evaluated by the same criteria that we use to choose whether or not we're going to buy something. So is it of interest to people in Anoka County? Is it in demand in our county? Does it meet an information need for Anoka County citizens? If that's the case and we can use it, then we will invest the time and money in cataloging and processing it.
Sure.
Otherwise, we will sell it to Better World Books or through the used book sale, or use our community share program to make those books available in other venues. So we have a system where we will take books that have been withdrawn from the library or donated to us and put them in daycare centers, laundromats, food shelves, senior citizen facilities, other kinds of places to make materials available to people. So donations are welcome. Each building has a different capacity to store and deal with donated material. So in general, we ask like one paper box or 2 grocery bags at a time. If you have a larger volume of material, we'd ask that you call our library support services building and arrange to bring them there. Monetary donations, we love those.
Okay.
Anything that you'd like to, we accept and will use memorial donations, honorary donations, if you'd like to give a gift as in memory of someone or as a tribute to an important person in your life. We will put a book plate in the materials that we purchase, saying that this item was purchased in memory of or in honor of a particular person or an organization. And if you'd like to direct your donation to be used for a particular kind of material, you may do that. So if you want us to buy audiobooks or nonfiction books, we can use money in that fashion as well.
Okay, great. I do want to thank you guys so much for coming. And I also want to recognize you're doing way more than I thought you were. I mean, there's a lot. I'm kind of familiar with libraries, but awesome. So there's so many great programs. I do love the little library, the story time. That would be a great one. The thing that I asked you to talk about, which was the books for shut-ins, I found out about that program. I have a friend with stage 4 cancer, and she is so over the moon that she can get books without troubling her family.
Oh,
Those of us who are getting on in years have to rely on our family for so much. And if there's something that we can get that's a program provided, it means the world to us when that happens. So thank you for that, and thank you for everything you do. Does anybody else have anything to add to the chat?
while you're doing that, Susan, I just want to let you know, when I heard about that program, when I first came here, I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. We are looking to expand that program. Right now we have one librarian that handles it. whether that be with volunteers or, you know, more resources. I think if it was widely announced, it would be very, very popular. And I love reading books, and I'm with all of you that says I got to have a book to read at all times. So if I didn't have that, you know, if I was shut in or sick, that service would mean the world to me. So just so you know, we are really looking at expanding that too.
There's a comment from Wes that the league did a suffrage displays in the past year at Northtown and Rum River libraries. Are you likely to do any displays the rest of the year? I suppose that depends on whether or not you're open. But are you, if you are open, is that something that you're interested in?
Yeah, we get a lot of requests for displays and people really enjoy them. And, you know, if there's a socially distanced waiting line, it might be a good time to have displays in there. So I see no reason that we wouldn't continue that once we're open.
All of our buildings have display cases that can be reserved by community groups and individuals to display collections or informational material. And we work in concert with people at with other county departments to do displays for public health and other departments so that they can get their information out in a venue other than their usual contact with the public. Some of our buildings also have areas to display art. We have hanging rails in several of the buildings that allow us to display student art from schools or art from members of the community. So if we're open, I'm sure our display library, the librarians who coordinate those are going to be busy because people are going to want to be able to put them up again.
I have a question for all of you. Is there any service we are not providing at this time that you're missing or that we could do something about? If you can't answer now, you can always email me or call me. But we're very, you know, curious if you guys have something that's not working for you. If there's anything different we can do, we will certainly try.
Anybody want to make a comment on chat? I did run through all of the eBooks that you had, and so I had to resort to Kindle Unlimited. But I'm waiting to go back to the library.
You've read every ebook we have?
Every ebook that I wanted to read.
Oh.
I probably read 2 to 3 books a week.
Wow.
It's been a lifelong thing for me. I have to read it. I can't. It's my way to recover from life. So
I totally understand. And again, you are certainly eligible to work with us on getting books delivered to you. So
I'm out. I have a walker and I walk.
Ooh.
And I can drive, so I can get around. But I walked which is the reason I'm sitting in this chair today, is that I walked 4 miles yesterday, and thus far today I have 9,872 steps. So yeah, I'm pretty sore.
Yeah.
But I get around.
Well, then you can do curbside, I'm guessing, right?
Yes, I could, but you know, I love to read, and I read at night. I've gone completely to tablet because you can enlarge the print.
Yep.
You can turn your lamp off. You can take your glasses off. And when you fall asleep, the book goes off when you don't turn the page. It's a perfect world.
I agree. Well, we will do what we can to see if there's some more ebooks out there that can interest you.
Well, thank you so very much for this. I'm so impressed with the library, and we will maybe see if we can get you some money going your way, since we would hate to see that much money in budget cuts. That's not good. So yeah. Thank you so much for your time tonight, both you and Jamie. And welcome to all you guys who checked in a little bit later. It's good to see you. Or see your faces.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your support and interest, and this is quite the opportunity, so thank you.